Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Testing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Horsburgh Gymnasium here at Case Western Reserve University, the home of the Spartans, who will be starting off today's morning. This is day 2 of the CWRU Quad taking place this weekend. I'm Sarzucci, excited to bring you today's broadcast between the Spartans and the Allegheny Gators. Both teams were in action last night. The Spartans took on Averett, defeated them by a score of 3-0. Allegheny, same score against Defiance right after. So Allegheny will start off on the left side of your screen in those dark blue jerseys with the green trimming. The Spartans on the right, also in dark blue, but with white and silver. And if you look at Allegheny, we'll talk about their matchup last night against Defiance. And they had some incredible performances from players like Izzy Gray, who had 30 assists, averaging 10%. Along with Angeli Bawick with 16 kills. Along with that, she had 9 digs on the defensive end. So the Spartans will look to make the first attack. And they do so with Amanda Ungo. She's a sophomore from Toledo, Ohio. Amanda and her sister Jennifer will be 2 key players to watch for the Spartans today. And should Jennifer Ungo, who's in the starting lineup as well, an all Great Lakes region honorable mention and was an all UAA first team player for the second time in her career. Amanda Ungo was an all UAA honorable mention last year. The serve coming from Allegheny, it's Duru Akbash. It tips off the net. The set once again for Amanda Ungo. Izzy Gray is underneath it. On the far side, Bawick, and it's blocked down. Amanda Ungo and Callie Wall, another sophomore. She's from Mason, Ohio. She's a player who does some great things on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. She's second on this team with just about 2.5 kills per set. They'll go in her direction once again, but this time she's too strong, and it'll go out of play. Callie Wall also with 9 block assists on the season coming into this one. So the serve goes into the net, and the Spartans leading here early 3-2. Ansley Yamato will be back to serve. Yamato, a third-year player from Atlanta, Georgia, has been in this starting rotation since she came in. There's a nice offensive play on the other side. That's number 16, Dagny Javes, for Allegheny, and she had a good night against Defiance last night as well. She had 7 kills and just 2 attack errors, also with 5 block assists. Allegheny did really well on the defensive end, especially in that final set. And an early whistle. And the Spartans will extend their lead as Emily Goodpaster gets the start today. She'll be back to serve, a first-year player from Bettendorf, Iowa. Last night she played 1 set and had 4 kills. This one gets tipped. And Dagny Javes, another play offensively. As checking in for the Gators will be Emma Chambers. She's second on this team in kills so far on the season. She's got 71 overall and just under 3%. Second on the team only to Bawick, who we mentioned earlier. This one pops straight up in the air. Ungo to Yamato, back to Ungo. That's Jennifer Ungo on the offensive end, and she's been a key player for the Spartans the past 2 seasons. We mentioned some of her accolades. Last year averaged a team high about 2.5 kills and just over 1 block per set. Also one of this team's captains this year. This Spartans team is coming off a very successful season, a 22-6 record, which was a new program record in terms of winning percentage. And there's Amanda Ungo. So it's a 6-5 game here early. Talk about the Spartans last season. The difference between that team and this team, they have a much stronger strength of schedule this year, and they're hoping that'll help them push themselves into some postseason action. A nice play that time from Chambers on the far side to get it over and tie things up here in the first set. The Spartans are led by head coach Karen Farrell. This is her 22nd season, a very tenured staff, along with Nelson Widmeyer, Jeff Harr, Kim Waters, and Bailey Hagedorn. On the other side, we talked a little bit about Allegheny and their staff last night, led by head coach Kelly Barzak, assisted by Zach Rombach and Morgan Goodlett. And they were a team making their first appearance in the PAC tournament last year after coming over from the NCAC. There's a nice play that time from Sydney Kirk, sophomore from Pittsburgh. Another player who had a very successful evening in that game last night against Defiance. She also had 7 kills, along with 4 digs on the defensive end. So we're 7-7 here. Akbash will have the serve. Good pastors underneath it. The set this time goes outside for Kelly Wall. Nearly dug out of there by Akbash, but no one else home to receive the pass from her as Jennifer Ungo checks back into the game. Carly Scott will get the assist on that last play, number 25. Back to serve Alyssa Blessinger, a senior, another captain on this team. She's from Newburgh, Indiana. She's the libero for the Spartans team. And I got a chance to catch up with her before the season began, and this one just gets pushed over by Carly Scott. And Sydney Kirk manages to bring it back over once again for Allegheny. And Alyssa told me a couple things about the Spartans team this season, and the differences between them now and the teams that we've seen in the past. One of those things is that they've had a bit of a culture shift. She said one of her goals is to leave Case Western Reserve as a winning team and a team that's really bonded together. That's something that she feels has changed in her 4 years here. As Scott dumps this one over, a nice play, found the spot in the defense. Spartans will have the serve back once again, Ansley Yamamoto. Yamamoto played 98 sets a year ago and led the team with 478 assists. She'll be a key player to watch on the offensive end. She'll look for another one here, looking for Jennifer Ungo, and she gets it. It's tipped and goes out. So the Spartans with a 2-point lead now. The other thing Alyssa Blessinger told me was that she feels this team has a deeper roster than they have in previous years. As Scott pushes this one over. Goes out of play from Javes. She feels that there's a lot of young players on this team who are embracing the challenge, not only in their strength of schedule, but in terms of just getting on the court. And we'll talk about more of what Alyssa had to say, but first the timeout as the Spartans lead 11-8 here in the first set. So the Spartans last night had some great offense from a lot of different players. Jennifer Ungo led the team with 10 kills, and 8 also coming from Rhea Marfatia, another player that we haven't talked about a lot today. And Rhea is a captain on this team as well. She's second on the team in kills overall, third in kills per set. She's a junior outside hitter from Rochester Hills, Michigan, wearing number 11. She's in the back row right now. And that ball finds the corner. A nice job from Allegheny. Once again, we've seen a couple of these attacks. We saw a lot of it last night. Those bigs in the middle, Carly Beers will head to the bench, but she was heavily involved in a lot of those plays, along with Dagny Javes and Sydney Kirk as well. And, of course, Angelique Bewick. Serve will go to the back row. Good passer is there. Yamato will look for Carly Scott. And the Spartans will get it back. Carly Scott, another player coming off a good year in 2022. As the Spartans get themselves another one. Carly Scott last year, 133 kills in 86 sets. We'll have another timeout. So we'll step aside for a moment. The Spartans' lead is up to 14-9. A reminder, we'll have a lot more volleyball here today after this match. But right now, also going on, Mount Union taking on Averett. That's over at the Veal Courts on the other side of the Veal Center. Later, we'll have Averett and Allegheny right here in Horsburgh Gymnasium. Mount Union will take on Defiance. And then at 2 p.m., Case Western Reserve will take on Defiance themselves. The hosts starting and closing off this weekend at the CWRU Quad here in 2023 as Bewick goes up for it and Scott brings it back, going back and forth up at the net. Javes, good passer, pops it up. Yamato going for Ungo. It's tipped and it goes out. The Spartans coming out of that timeout with another strong rally. So they lead by 6 here in the first set. Again, both of these teams last night won their respective matches 3-0, and the serve from Goodpaster, too strong, too long, it'll go out of play. The Spartans won by closer margins than Allegheny last night, 25-20, 25-20 again, and then 26-24. That last set, the Spartans found themselves down 24-20 before rattling off 6 straight to close things out. This one falls once again just a little bit too far for the diving Alejandro Fernandez. As Amanda Ungo re-enters the game, Jennifer will have the serve. Bewick pops it up. It's going to be out on the Spartan side of things. 17-10 is the score now in the first set. And the serve from Jennifer Ungo, a little bit too strong there. The Spartans team in previous years has been thought of as a bit of a younger team, but now suddenly they feel a lot more experienced. They had 8 players last year who appeared in at least 60 sets, and out of them, 7 of those players are back with the team this season. They lost some key players such as Gianna Lambert and Sarah Rogers. Rogers was a 3-year captain for this team. She was a setter who was very dynamic. And Lambert, another talented player, an outside hitter. The serve goes back row to Marfatia. Now Yamamoto pushes it to Amanda Ungo. And she'll try one more time, but this time outside to Carly Scott. Tips it right over Emma Chambers, and a nice job directing that ball. Now Scott will go back to serve herself, and we'll have a whistle and a discussion down on the floor. As Callie Wall will come into the game for the Spartans. Ansley Yamato's off. That front row right now for the Spartans, Rhea Marfatia, Amanda Ungo, and Callie Wall. Callie Wall last year had 204 kills to add to this Spartans attack. So far this season, she's got 46 entering this one. And another strong play at the net for the Spartans. Block by Amanda Ungo and Rhea Marfatia. Gray this time will set for Kirk. Good pass her in a nice position to get to it. Callie Wall goes to the other side, and Bawick digs it out. And she quietly had a great night on the defensive end yesterday. Angeli Bawick. We talked a lot about her offensive success, but she had 9 digs as well, which was actually the most on the team in that game against Defiance. And overall on the season, she's got 51 digs, which is just over 2%. Both figures second on the team, only to Jossie Diaz. There's Diaz getting under that one. They're going for Chambers, and she finds the spot, and that's a kill for her. It's Emma Chambers' second kill of the day. Marfatia's under this serve. Scott looking for Amanda Ungo, and Beers did nice to get back to it. Marfatia once again. Diaz digs it out. Scott for Wall, and this time she finds the spot just a little bit too far for Angeli Bawick. We talked about Bawick, and she's shown a lot of talent this year. A first-year player from Goodyear, Arizona. So a young player getting a lot of experience this season. As Marfatia serve a little bit wide and outside. It's a 20-16 game. It's been close all set long. Again, two teams who've had a lot of good things go their way this season. Allegheny is 4-3. They've been up and down with no streak longer than 2 wins or 2 losses. The Spartans come into this one 5-1 overall. Their only loss coming on Wednesday to Mount Union, who's here this weekend, but the Spartans will not face them in this CWRU Quad. Blessinger will go back to serve, and Jennifer Ungo has re-entered the game. Serve goes back to Jossie Diaz, looking for Sydney Kirk, and that one's too strong. We've seen a couple errors from both teams so far, but the Spartans' hitting percentage, .357. There's a nice kill from Angeli Bawick. Once again, it's the 11th kill for the Gators as a team. And for Bawick, just her first of the match so far. Good pass to the other side. Pops up near the net. Akbash gets under it for the Gators, and a whistle. So the Spartans will have another point closer to finishing out this first set. And a pause as we'll have some substitutions and maybe a discussion about that last play. The officials will confer. The initial ruling was that the point was going to go to the Spartans, that Allegheny had their 4th touch on it. Their coaching staff did not agree with the call. And so they'll reverse that ruling. So we'll start here. Izzy Gray will go for Dagny Javes, and a nice play that time. So your updated score, it's 22-18. Initially the scoreboard said 23, but that point came back, and now Allegheny winning the point off the following rally. So 22-18 is where we're at here in the first set, rather. Gray will go tight once again for Javes. She redirected that at the last second. Scott will try to dump it over once again. Now a fight for it at the net, and Ungo will win that. That's Jennifer Ungo. So now it is 23 for the Spartans. Ansley Yamato will have the serve. Goes into the net on the receiving end. So it'll be set point for the Spartans. Yamato has a chance to close this out. Returned Gray looking for Bewick. The Spartans keep it alive. Now Beer is too strong for Marfatia to handle. So now the Gators will have the serve. Alejandra Fernandez sends it to the back row. Alyssa Blessinger is under it. Yamato looking for Ungo. Fernandez gets to it. Bewick will go once again to the back row. Tips off of Marfatia, and Allegheny's still alive here. Won the last 2, so it's 24-20 in this first set. That's gone back and forth for quite a while. The Spartans jumped out to a little bit of a lead, but Allegheny's still hanging around. Here's Ungo. She'll send it over. She thought about going up for it, but it's put down on the other end. Dagny Javes for Allegheny. A nice play, and it looks like we're going to have a timeout from the Spartans. We've had set point the last 3, but Allegheny's won them all. It's 24-21 in the first set of play. So after that timeout, 24-21, Allegheny has the serve. The Spartans trying to close out set number 1. Emily Goodpaster goes up for it. Now they'll try with Jennifer Ungo, and she closes things out. Jennifer Ungo with her 5th kill of the day, tied for the lead amongst all players, and we'll head into set number 2. The Spartans take the first one. They have yet to lose a set here this weekend. 25-21 is the final for set number 1. So we'll take a short break and be back for set number 2 here on day 2 of the CWRU Quad at Horsburgh Gymnasium. Case Western Reserve taking on Allegheny in the first match of day 2 of the CWRU Quad. A lot of volleyball to be played today. The Spartans took the first set by a score of 25-21. They were led by Jennifer Ungo on the offensive end with 5 kills, and then 3 from her sister Amanda, along with Carly Scott. Four block assists as a team as well. 2 coming from Amanda Ungo, 1 from Ria Marfatia, and 1 from Callie Wall. And 6 digs from Emily Goodpaster, the first year, to help the Spartans, along with 9 assists from Ansley Yamamoto. Allegheny starts off set number 2 with the first point. The set from Scott outside to Callie Wall. It was tipped, so it'll be a Spartan point. And on our other courts here in the Veal Center, Mount Union currently taking on Averett. And in that match, Mount Union won the first set just moments ago by a score of 25-21, so same score that we had here at Horsburgh Gymnasium. Wall sends this one over to the back row. Jassy Diaz is all over it, and that'll be enough for the Gators. They're off to a 3-1 lead here in the second set. On their end, Dagny Javes had 5 kills in the first set. Sydney Kirk with 4, and 14 assists already from Izzy Gray, who had 30 last night in the match against Defiance. Izzy Gray is a player who averages well over 5 assists per set. Diaz's serve. Marfatia is under it. Now Blessinger will send it over. Goes back to Diaz. Gray tight this time for Javes, and it falls once again. Another assist for her. And Dagny Javes with her 6th kill of the day now. We'll have a whistle and a timeout. The Spartans have fallen behind 5-1 in the second set. Allegheny came out of the break on fire. When I spoke with Alyssa Blessinger last week, we talked about the Spartans' strength of schedule, and no game really comes very easy, and this is a tough one for them today. Allegheny in the second set has jumped out to a pretty significant lead, and Alyssa told me that one of the keys for this Spartans team is that they need to be more confident when they get into these tough games. They played a couple NCAA tournament teams last year. Overall, their record was 22-6, and out of those 6 losses, 5 came against teams that would make it to the NCAA tournament. But they did defeat teams like Wash U and Carnegie Mellon. That was actually on the same day that they did that. And she felt like more confidence going into these games will help them be more successful. So Allegheny now up to a 6-2 lead as Alejandra Fernandez will go back to serve. And we'll take a moment to wipe down that court. Rhea Marfatia is on it. So we'll resume play here. Fernandez keeps her serve. She'll send it over to the back row. It's going to be too strong. Marfatia and Blessinger communicated well. Let that one go out of play, and Ainsley Yamamoto will check back into the game, and she'll head back to serve for the Spartans. Yamamoto has been another key player on the offensive side for the home team. She's got 8 assists in this one so far today. Carly Scott has also got 6. That's the second most on the team. Bawick back row and finds a nice spot. Another one for Allegheny. And they're maintaining this 4-point lead here in the second set. Gators serve from Angeli Bawick. That one just a little bit long. Their last 2 serves have looked like that. So the Spartans will get it back. They took a timeout after falling behind 5-1. And it was a struggle to close out the first set. They were up 24-18, but Allegheny stormed back, and it ended up being 25-21. That's a nice job finding the spot. Emma Chambers gets that one just inside that back right corner. Dagny Javes will have the serve, a junior from Frederick, Colorado. Yamato will set it near side for Carly Scott, and Alejandra Fernandez is there. That was a tough play from Chambers, who was right by the official on the near side and couldn't get a clean shot on it. So the Spartans will get it back. Jennifer Ungo back to serve now. And the all-UAA selection a year ago, first team. And Scott sends this one over. Now we've seen her do that a couple times today. Izzy Gray returns it on the other side, but it's still alive. Diaz sends it over. Goodpaster is there. Yamamoto near side. Amanda Ungo, and it's just outside of that line. So still a 4-point lead here for Allegheny. And their hitting percentage has significantly improved here, especially in the second set. They're up to .341 for the match overall. Yamamoto goes for Amanda Ungo. A nice job once again. That's Amanda Ungo's 4th kill of the match so far. And Ainsley Yamamoto, that's assist number 9. Serve from Scott. Gray looks into the middle for Kirk. It's kept alive. Marfatia over Kirk, who tips it, and Allegheny nearly keeping it alive. Jossie Diaz was diving in, but couldn't quite keep it up cleanly. So the Spartans closing this lead. It's 9-7 now. Scott keeps her serve. Back row, Bawick is there. Now Gray pops it up. Chambers. Scott looking for Amanda Ungo. Once again, it's sent back and kept alive. Jossie Diaz, a nice job to dig that one out of there. Chambers, back row, good pass her, diving Blessinger, and now Carly Scott pushes it over. Another long rally here. Chambers, this one blocked back down into their own net, however, so the Gators will get it. It's the 21st kill on the day for Allegheny. Bawick sends it over. Scott to Blessinger, outside for Callie Wall, and puts it down. The 4th kill now for Callie Wall. Again, we mentioned her success from a year ago. She's second on this team in kills per set, only to Jennifer Ungo, who averages over 3. Scott pushes this one to the back row. Now Gray comes near side for Bawick. And they had a lot of success with that combination last night. And we mentioned Bawick had 16 kills in that match. She's got 6 so far in this one today. And the 30 assists overall from Izzy Gray. And now she's up to 21 in this match. As Allegheny still holding on to this lead in the second set. They dropped the first set, so it's 1-0 for the Spartans as Alyssa Blessinger goes back to serve. The Spartans last year, that 20-win season was also their first since 2016, so they've slowly been on the rise the last couple years. And they have expectations of making a run in the UAA conference, but also want to make a national tournament appearance. Again, just 6 losses last year, but Alyssa Blessinger said their strength of schedule and their strength of victory just wasn't enough to help get them a spot in that tournament, as this one is sent into the corner. That's part of embracing the challenge this year that they will face in every match that they play, especially once they get into conference play. Gray will set it near side for Bowick. It looked like it was tipped up at the net, and it was, so Allegheny extends the lead back up to 3. This is an Allegheny team that averages about 11 kills per set, but already in the second set in this match, they have 26 so far, so averaging 13 per set, and we're at a 14-10 score here in the second. They've played great offensively, not only in this match, but the match last night against Defiance. They were firing on all cylinders, but so is Jennifer Ungo right now. That's her 6th kill of the day. Here's Scott, goes far side, Marfatia, and it's kept alive. Gray goes for Chambers. And we're going back and forth up at the net now on the Allegheny side. Now Goodpaster under it for the Spartans. Scott returning it. And then from Javes, it's in play. So it's a 15-11 match. The Spartans have not led at any point here in the second set. The closest they got, they tied things at 1-1. Then Allegheny jumped out to a 5-1 lead, and they've held on to that ever since. So Amanda Ungo is back in the game, and Jennifer Ungo will have the serve. Gray pops it up for Chambers. It goes into the net. But out of play from the Spartans. So Allegheny back up to a 4-point lead. Again, a lead they've held on to throughout this second set. Gray serves back row to Goodpaster. Now Marfatia, and Gray couldn't return that one. A nice kill for her. For Marfatia, that her 3rd kill of the match so far. And she's another player who's had a good season. 48 kills entering the match, and about 2.5 per set. The 3rd most on this team, and that one's put down in play. Amanda Ungo and Callie Wall were there. A timeout's going to be called by Allegheny now as the Spartans have closed the lead. It's 16-14, but the Spartans still up 1-0 here in Cleveland. We talked about that Allegheny coaching staff last night, but let's take a moment to talk about Spartan head coach Karen Farrell. Again, we mentioned it's her 22nd season with the Spartans. She actually coached the team back in the 90s for a couple years and then came back in 2006. And overall, her teams have had 11 winning seasons along with 305 wins. And out of those seasons, 20 wins in 8 of them. Their best UAA conference finish since 97 was back in 2015. They were 3rd. And it was the program's first ever win in the Division III volleyball tournament. They've made it to the tournament twice under Coach Karen Farrell in 2015 and then back in 2010 as well. And Karen Farrell was also an integral part of starting up the Case Western Reserve softball team back in 1996. They had 3 UAA conference championships in her 4 years as head coach. And in fact, the team didn't win another UAA championship until 2022. The volleyball team last year, again, we mentioned earlier, set a program record for winning percentage. They were 22-6 overall. They were 4-3 in conference play as well, and are looking to make another push into the tournament this year. But right now they have to deal with the Allegheny Gators, who are on top of them 18-15 here in the second set. Got to wipe down another spot on the court there. As the Spartans will have their serve, Rhea Marfatia. Send it to the back row. And Ungo is all over that. Closing the gap now for the Spartans. Marfatia will keep her serve. And for Amanda Ungo, that's kill number 6 on the day. As this one goes out on the serve. Blessinger is underneath it. Not as clean as she might have liked, but she manages to push it back over. Gray will set near side Bewick. This one sent right back. Ungo and Callie Wall were there, and Dagny Japes tries to push this one over, but it comes down on her side in play. It's still a 2-point lead for Allegheny. Again, the Spartans have yet to lead in the second set after winning the first one. Took it 25-21. Scott will set for Jennifer Ungo. That's right on the line. That was a close play, but it couldn't have been a better spot for Ungo. The Gators let it go and watched. They thought it was going to be called out, but that flag came down. So a 1-point lead now for the Gators, and the Spartans tie things up. They've stormed back here. They've won the last 3 points as we have a timeout. 19 all in the second set. Spartans still leading overall 1-0. On the other court, it's 19-15 in the second set. Mount Union on top of Averett. And Mount Union also already took set number 1. Over here, it's all knotted up in the second set after the Spartans won the first one. Goodpaster sends it over back row. Gray will set tight, and the Spartans are all over that, and they'll get it back once again. Jennifer Ungo along with Emily Goodpaster there, and the Spartans have taken the first lead of this second set, 20-19. They have all the momentum, it seems, right now. And they've won the last 4 points. So Alyssa Blessinger will be back to serve. Goes back row. She finds the line. What a perfect spot. We've seen a couple of those plays now for the Spartans. Jennifer Ungo moments ago, and now Alyssa Blessinger with a service ace of her own. This time Bewick tries to get it back row. Marfatia is there. Callie Wall keeps it in, and now Jennifer Ungo sends it back the other way. Gray will set tight once again. Now the Spartans return the favor off the net, and it's going to go in play. Jennifer Ungo gets credit for another kill. It'll be her 9th of the game, second amongst all players. And the Spartans have gotten themselves in a position to take set number 2 after being down really the majority of the time. Jossie Diaz is under the serve, and now Bewick. It's blocked back towards the Gator side, but it's going to go out. So Allegheny will get the point. 22-20 is now the score as Beers hops off and Alejandra Fernandez will come back in to take the serve. Scott to Callie Wall. That one's going to be too strong once again. It looks like. That may have been tipped. That's the call. So it is. So the Spartans will actually get the point there. 23-20. They're 2 away from closing out set number 2. Ansley Yamato will have the serve. Bewick, a strong kill that time. And she'll win it for the Gators as Chambers will come back into the game. Bewick will go back to serve. And for Angeli Bewick, that's her 8th kill of the match. Gray will set for Chambers now. Marfatia in the back row is under it. Yamato will try to push it over. Now Gray, that one's going to be too strong from Dagny Javes. So it's set point once again for the Spartans. Winning this one would be the same score that they won the first set by. Fernandez is under it. Now Gray gets it for Chambers. Blessinger on the other side. Jennifer Ungo, she closed out the first set with a kill. Try to do the same thing here. Not just yet, but they'll set it for her. No, for Carly Scott, actually, on the near side. Now Scott will set it up for Marfatia. Back row, and it's too strong and out. 24-22. And a few more substitutions for Allegheny. Sydney Kirk is back on. She's got 6 kills on the day. Emma Chambers has 9, and those two are in the front row along with Izzy Gray. Yamato goes for Jennifer Ungo. It's tipped up at the net. Nice defense by the Gators that time, and they turn it into offense. Emma Chambers with her 10th kill, and they're 1 point away from tying things up, 24-23. The Spartans will take a timeout. Coach Farrell will talk to her team. It's a similar story to what happened in the first set, but it's 24-23. The Spartans trying to take a 2-0 lead, but the Gators aren't making it easy. Chloe Dykeman will have the serve for Allegheny, and they're looking to tie things up to keep the Spartans from taking a 2-0 lead, but they can't do it because Jennifer Ungo is on top of that one, and she'll win the second set for the Spartans just like she did the first. This one a little bit closer. The Spartans didn't lead until they got to point 20. They took a 20-19 lead and made it 25-23 to close things out. So they have a 2-0 lead. It'll take a great comeback for Allegheny to take this one. Right now the Spartans on top in the first match of today's Day 2 CWRU Quad here in Cleveland. We'll take a break and be back for set number 3. All set for set number 3 here at Horsburgh Gymnasium. Allegheny gets us started off. They led the majority of set number 2, but the Spartans will take the lead to start off this third set in what could be the final set of the match, because the Spartans won the first 2 by scores of 25-21 and then 25-23. A very close and intense set just moments ago coming to a conclusion. So we'll start off 1-1. Actually 2-0 for the Spartans. So Ria Marfatia with the serve. Gray will set for Carly Beers. The Spartans get it back. Blessinger sets it up for good passer. It's dug out of there nicely. Jossie Diaz, the libero. Now Blessinger, the libero for the Spartans. Now Callie Wall puts it down. And Alyssa Blessinger, just a couple games ago against Mount Union, became the 20th player in program history to reach 1,000 career digs. She's a senior, but it's really her third season after her first year was negated due to the pandemic. Good pass to her, goes to the back row. Diaz finds Emma Chambers once again. And Chambers, who now has 11 kills on the day. This one is tipped, and it comes down for the Spartans. Nice play by Lily Crouch. She's a junior from Chagrin Falls, Ohio, nearby. And helps the Spartans jump out to a 4-1 lead here in the third set. Blessinger has the serve now. Sends it back row. Bawick is there. They'll go back in her direction. And a whistle will blow. So Allegheny will get that point as Dagny Javes comes back into this one. She's got 10 kills so far on the day. Blessinger, Scott, Ungo. It's dug out now. Izzy Gray, and they'll have to send it over. Akbash does. Now Scott goes for Ungo on the outside, and she finds the spot. Puts it down in a nice position. Spartans off to a 5-2 lead here in the third set. Again, after this match is over at noon, we'll see Averett taking on Allegheny right here at Horsburgh Gymnasium. In the meantime, Mount Union will be playing Defiance over on the Veal courts. The Spartans will have a little bit of a break before taking on Defiance themselves right here at Horsburgh Gymnasium at 2 p.m. And the Spartans won 3-0 last night against Averett, and Allegheny won 3-0 last night against Defiance. So both teams trying to extend their winning weekend, but the Spartans have won each of the first 2 sets. Allegheny finding a nice spot that time. Dagny Javes is there for the Gators. So it's a 5-4 game here in the third set. Over on the Veal courts, Mount Union has taken both the first 2 sets, 25-21 and 25-19, and they lead in the third set by a score of 9-1. And again, we'll see Averett right back here at noon to take on Allegheny. Good passer to the back row. Jossie Diaz returns it. Bawick, nice dig from Alyssa Blessinger on what would have been a strong kill from Angelique Bawick. Scott got it back over for the Spartans, but it's kept alive by the Gators. Scott once again pushes it over, gets over the top of Javes and falls in between that defense. Up to a 3-point lead here for the Spartans. Goodpaster will have the serve. Gray for Bawick. It's sent back. Now Diaz gets it over Goodpaster. Yamato. Now Marfa Tia, can she keep it in? It's out. So Gators will get the serve back. Bawick is back there. And her serve goes into the net. Lily Crouch comes back into the game for the Spartans. Coming into this game, she's only played in 4 sets but has 5 kills. And she already has 1 more here today. And make that 2 more. Right on cue, Lily Crouch. So it's back up to a 4-point lead for the Spartans. As that one falls in a nice position away from Crouch and Marfatia. No whistle, as we're going to have to clean up the court once again. See the players testing out all spots of that court, making sure it's good to go. Marfatia wipes down the back end. Looking at the stat sheet, Jennifer Ungo and Dagny Jeeves tied for the lead amongst all players in kills. They've each got 12. We mentioned some of the assist numbers earlier. Ansley Yamato has 17 for the Spartans and Carly Scott with 15. On the other side, only 2 players even have an assist for Allegheny as Sydney Kirk puts this one down. Jossie Diaz has just 1, and Izzy Gray has 34 assists in this match so far. Yamato will add to her assist total. Rhea Marfatia is all over that one. And Yamato will head to the bench. Carly Scott will have the serve. And this one goes into the net. So Allegheny with another point. It'll be 10-8. Hitting percentage has actually increased for both these teams throughout the match. Spartans up to 368 and Allegheny, the Gators, up to 337. Callie Wall sends this into the back row. Now Kirk Blessinger is under it. Scott will set for Wall on the outside. It goes into the net on the return. So the Spartans will increase their lead back up to 3. They've led for the majority of this third set. In fact, have led for the entirety of it. They led for most of the first set. In the second set, it was a different story as they were actually behind for the most part. Tied things up at 19 and took a lead from there that they wouldn't give up. As Carly Scott tries to dump this one over the top, it comes back to her and she couldn't get to it on the defensive end. But Allegheny has made this a tough match, but have been unable to close out either set so far. Good passer, goes for a kill. She gets it. It'll be tipped at the net. But a nice play from her. And for Good Passer, her second kill of the match. And a first-year player who got in the starting lineup today. That'll be a service ace. It just goes inside for Alyssa Blessinger. And that's the third ace for her on the day. That leads all players. Now Blessinger's serve into the back row. It's going to be too long, and that one's out. And good communication you could hear from the Gators side as Dagny Javes is back in the game. We've got Javes, Bewick, and Carly Beers up top. Marfatia on the defensive end. Now Gray for Javes. Her 13th kill of the match. That leads all players. And another assist for Izzy Gray, who has been phenomenal so far in that department, just as she was last night. This one is tipped. Jennifer Ungo. She's closed out each of the first 2 sets, and she's now got herself 13 kills as well, matching Javes all day. Ainsley Amato will have the serve. It's blocked right back by Jennifer Ungo. Now the set will go outside to Scott. Akbash couldn't keep it up and alive. It goes well out of play. And the Spartans extending this lead just a little bit at a time. It's up to 15-11. Now we'll have a timeout from Allegheny. So that's where we are in the 3rd set. The Spartans looking to close things out here in the first match of the CWRU Quad, Day 2. So Ainsley Yamato keeps the serve and nearly found herself another ace. Javes, Blessinger diving to keep it alive. Now Jennifer Ungo finds the spot. It's in. The Spartans come out of the timeout strong once again. And have found their way to a 16-11 lead. Bowick, a strong attempt, but Alyssa Blessinger has been great on the defensive end so far today. For Blessinger, that's her 11th dig of the match. Bowick, that one was tipped, it looked like, at the net, so Allegheny will get the point that time. Fernandez will have the serve into the back row. Now for Goodpaster, it's blocked at the net but goes out of play. Another kill for this Spartans team. They've got 44 on the match overall, and as a team, hitting just above 400. Nice job that time finding the spot in play. Izzy Gray. Leading the Spartans, we mentioned their kill numbers. Jennifer Ungo, who has 14 kills in this match so far, and she's done it with a 636 hitting percentage. Now Marfatia tries to send it over. Nice job returned by Fernandez. Once again to Rhea, and now it pops out over by the scorer's table. The Spartans getting closer and closer to finishing out this match. Again, they'll have another match at 2 o'clock right here in Horsburgh Gymnasium. Right now it's Jennifer Ungo with the serve. And on the return it goes right in front of the official. That's Patricia Salvatore. as we have a timeout on the floor. The Spartans up to a 6-point lead in set number 3. They're up 2-0 over Allegheny right now. So Jennifer Ungo keeps her serve. It's a 19-13 lead for the Spartans here in the third set. Again, what could be the final set if they're able to close this out. They've managed to close out both of the first 2 sets, but struggled to do so after getting the set point because Allegheny has continued to fight back throughout this match. It's a lot closer than what the scoreboard may suggest as Yamamoto tries to push it over. Now Izzy Gray will set for Chambers and gets it down. Emma Chambers getting herself another kill, and Izzy Gray with assist number 37 of the match. Now Chloe Dykeman will have the serve. Sends it to the back row, good past her. Carly Scott tried to put it down, and Allegheny gets themselves another point. They've got a lot of energy on that side right now, but it's still a 4-point lead in this third set for the Spartans. Marfatia on the receiving end of that serve. Now blocked at the net, but it goes out of play, so the Spartans will get it 20-15 is the score. Now they're getting closer and closer as Callie Wall checks back into the game. Callie Wall's got 8 kills on the day so far, and she has a .353 hitting percentage along with 1 solo block and 2 assists. Scott sends this one back row. Bewick Gray now sets it tight for Kirk, and it's put down. Lily Crouch was there along with Wall. Now going back and forth, and the Gators can't push it back over. 21-15 now for the Spartans as Carly Scott will have the serve. And from Scott, the junior from Cincinnati, her serve too wide. Allegheny will get it back. And they'll have Izzy Gray. She's a sophomore from Erie, Pennsylvania. Sends it to Alyssa Blessinger. Now Wall. And a nice job blocking it back. Sydney Kirk, Carly Beers also there to make life difficult for the Spartans. It's still another close set. Each of the first 2 were close, 25-21 and 25-23, the finals in those, but the Spartans still managed to win them both. Meanwhile, over in the other match, Mount Union has closed things out. They won the third set 25-12, so they'll have the victory 3-0 over Averett, who will be in action right here at noon against Allegheny, and that one's put down in a nice spot. 22-18 now for the Spartans. Marfatia, it's returned. Lily Crouch there for the Spartans trying to push it back. Now Scott will set it for, not for Crouch, for Wall. But Allegheny will win it either way. It's a 3-point game in the third set. We'll wipe down the court once more. CWRU Quad will have the serve. She's a first year from Ankara, Turkey. And her serve goes into the net. The Spartans getting closer as Jennifer Ungo will re-enter the game, but Alyssa Blessinger will have the serve, and she's done well on that side of things so far today. She's got 3 service aces already, and they could use another one right here. She'll send it over into the back row. Akbash now to Gray and then to Bawick, and it's sent back down, but it looks like some contact was made. So it's set point for the Spartans, 24-19. This is where Allegheny has made it tough for the Spartans, but they've managed to close things out each of the first 2 sets. Jennifer Ungo has been on the end of that. They'll set it for her right now, and she does it once again. Jennifer Ungo with her 15th kill of the match, and that's enough to take down Allegheny. They'll do it by a score of 3-0, but again, this match was a lot closer than what that score might suggest. So next up in this CWRU Quad, right here at Horsburgh Gymnasium, we'll have Averett and Allegheny in about 35 minutes or so. And then Mount Union and Defiance at the same time will start over on the Veal courts. Again, we mentioned the Spartans will have a little bit of a break, and they'll be back in action at 2 p.m. right here at Horsburgh Gymnasium to take on Defiance, and that'll close out our weekend. A lot of volleyball having been played already and a lot more to go. Be sure to join us once again for noon. We hope to see you there. But thank you for tuning in to this broadcast. I'm Sarzucci, and we're excited for a great day of volleyball. If you are leaving us right now, thank you and have a great rest of your day.